Yo, what is up, y'all? My name is Devin, and today I'm gonna be getting into questions that I frequently get asked around bulking. It seems like a lot of us are on our winter arc, aka trying to gain some muscle mass. A few of the things that we're gonna be getting into: when to increase your calories, if cardio should stay, if cardio should go, what your rate of gain should be, meal timing, everything like that, okay? But before we get into that, if you are interested in working with me, I am accepting one-on-one coaching clients, or you can also check out my website for custom meal and training plans and some other free materials that you can find. That's gonna be linked down below. Now, let's get into bulking. I myself have been bulking for around 6.5 months now. Time flies, and I'm happy that I'm spending it getting better. I learned many things along my route of trying to stay as lean as possible while gaining muscle mass. The first thing that I always get asked is, how do I know when I should bulk? So I'm not gonna make this part of the video too lengthy, because if you're here, you're probably thinking, I know I wanna bulk, just tell me how to. You wanna start a bulk from a very lean position, okay? That does not mean that you have to have visible abs, because if we're being real, if we're AFAB, many of us are not naturally disposed to have visible abs. That's something that if you play your cards right with the bulk, you will acquire in your subsequent cutting phase. What I will say is you wanna make sure that your body fat is pretty minimal. So I would say 15% maximum. If you're over 15% body fat, it's not the best thing for you to do to bulk, because what's gonna happen is your nutrient partitioning is not gonna be where you want it to, AKA your body is gonna acquire more fat than muscle mass in a bulking phase, and you're gonna cut down and you're gonna realize that you did not gain any muscle, right? So make sure that you're not starting from too fluffy of a place. If you're not sure about this, you can just buy calipers from Walmart. Are they the most accurate way to represent your body fat percentage? No. Is it better than just guessing? Yes. So that's one metric that you can look for, right? You've decided, hey, bulking is for me. Now what do I do? So the first thing is establish your baseline calories. You can't just start adding more food if you don't even know how much food you're eating. So if you're new to tracking, just download my net diary and just scan and log everything that you have in a day and see what that does to your weight, okay? If you're not entirely sure about what will be your bulking calories, find what makes your weight stay the same for 3-4 weeks in a row, and then add 100 calories to that. So you should be increasing your food intake only if your weight is stagnant for over 2 weeks. If you've done every single thing correct, you've eaten the same meals every day, you've never under-eaten in your calories, you haven't missed a training session, anything like that, you're 1000% dialed in, and your weight has stayed the same for 2 weeks, that's when you go ahead and increase calories, okay? So when you increase your calories, you wanna make sure that you're doing it very slowly. What happens? A lot of times we'll gain excess body fat by making too big of caloric jumps, right? So I always suggest increasing by around 100 calories whenever you do sprinkle a little bit more food in. Your protein should start off baseline pretty close to what it's gonna be. You want that to be at least 1 gram to 1.5 grams per pound of body weight, okay? I do suggest increasing via carbs first. Remember that carbs are gonna be your body's #1 source of energy. When you're training, carbs are converted to glycogen. That's, energy stored within the muscle. So it's gonna be very productive to your training to increase your carbs, okay? To be as blunt as possible, your carbs are gonna get burnt through. So if you're just not gaining weight, and you just keep adding carbs, then increase your fat intake, and that's gonna allow you to better absorb those carbs, and you're gonna be gaining weight a little bit easier, okay? Now, this brings us to our next stepping stone, which is gonna be rate of gain. How much weight should you be gaining every single week to know if you're having a productive bulking phase? For myself and for my clients, I max it out at 1 pound per week. The only time that I'll surpass 1 pound per week rate of gain is when I'm working with someone who is coming from a position of they're so lean that it's frightening. And I have had those instances where it's like, hey, fuck 1 pound per week. Like, we need to get some mass on your frame ASAP, okay? If you're severely underweight, should you be stifling your progress to only be gaining 1 pound per week? No, you go above that if you can, okay? You have to think in terms of your body composition, in terms of what's realistically possible with building muscle. You're never gonna be gaining 1 pound of muscle per week. So when I say you're gaining 1 pound per week, that's gonna be some muscle, that's gonna be some glycogen, that's gonna be some water weight. It's not gonna be pure muscle. So please keep that in mind. Don't think, oh, well, I bulked up, I gained 20 pounds of muscle, bro. If you're stuck for 1 week or 2 weeks, don't freak out and think, oh my God, I'm not gaining enough weight. Oh my God, I'm not bulking. You're bulking, calm down. Now, the next thing that I'm gonna dive into here is something that y'all might roll your eyes at, and it's gonna be cardio. So a lot of people ask me, should I keep cardio in? Is that gonna kill my gains? I'm gonna be losing weight if I do cardio, XYZ. Keep cardio in. I don't care if you're dieting, I don't care if you're bulking, I don't care if you're recomping, you always need cardio. Reason being, obviously, of course, yes, heart health, we wanna survive all of that amazing stuff that we all know about. It's also gonna help with with your nutrient partitioning. Remember that when you're eating food, how does your body differentiate between this needs to be sent towards muscles or this is going to be stored as fat? Nutrient partitioning is what decides that, okay? So the more active you are, the higher your basal metabolic rate is. So cardio is very important for that aspect. It also helps with digestion. So if you're slamming food, you're not used to eating, or you're hitting a wall with your digestion, or you're hitting a wall with your appetite, increasing your steps, increasing your cardio, no matter what form you're doing, is going to help a ton with not burning out too fast in terms of your appetite level, right? A lot of the times when I'm taking someone through a bulking cycle, they hit a brick wall, they feel like they can't eat anymore. We increase their steps by say 2,000 steps per day. All of a sudden the appetite is giving, I'm hungry. Now let's talk about how long should that bulk actually last. Realistically, if you're being as smart as you possibly can be with all the things I just mentioned, a slow and precise rate of gain, pretty solid adherence to training, pretty solid adherence to your step count, everything like that. You're taking progress pictures. I would say that your bulk should last at least 12 weeks. So that's 3 months, okay? Now, realistically, if you hit that 3-month mark and you're fluffy as hell, and be really real with yourself, you've not made the gains that you've expected to see, I suggest sitting in a maintenance phase, pushing training as hard as you possibly can. Align yourself with if you're gaining the type of weight that you want to be gaining, okay? If the answer to that is yes, you're looking at your progress pictures, you're looking in the mirror and you feel like you could take it further without gaining too much fat, then continue bulking, okay? Some of us can bulk for a year, some other folks can only bulk for like 3 months, okay? It just depends on your start point. Don't look at someone like Jacob Delaris or, some bodybuilder with extreme genetics and think, oh, well, this guy bulked for 2 years and then he cut down and he looked fantastic. At the end of the day, we don't really have genetics like that, you and I, okay? So let's not kid ourselves with, the amount of bulking that we can handle. Not only should we be thinking, I need to eat more food, we should also be thinking about muscle protein synthesis and giving our body ample opportunities for that throughout the day. Never should you be going the entire day with barely eating and then you decide, oh wait, I need to get my protein intake in, and then you force feed a bunch of food within a very short window of time. That's bullshit, and you're gonna crap out most of the food that you're eating anyways, okay? Your body's not gonna absorb it. You need to be waking up at a good time. You can't wake up at 11 if you're bulking, okay? Wake up from 6 to 10 at the latest, and that's honestly pushing it, and get your first meal in from the moment you wake up. So my schedule looks like for bulking is waking up 6:30 to 7. You wake up, you eat your first meal, a protein, carb, and a little bit of fat, right? So from there, your next meal should be either at 12 or 1. From there, your next meal should be a snack or a full meal around 3 p.m. And then your final meal should be dinner from 7:30 to 8. Do not eat any later than 8 unless you work some sort of night shift or something like that. What happens is if you eat too late, too close to bedtime, and you're continuing to digest that food into the morning, you're gonna wake up, you're gonna be full from the late ass meal you had, and now you're not gonna wanna eat breakfast. So it's like this chain reaction of, oh, I ate late, I continue to eat late, my breakfast is late, my lunch is late. It's gonna be hard for you to catch up. So start eating early, cut off your eating early, and have little snacks here and there. Have that nice pacing of meals and hold yourself accountable. I often have to tell people like, yo, set alarms for yourself to eat so that you don't just get busy, you get in the flow state with work and you forget that you have a whole meal to get, and that's like 1,000 calories. You gotta think, if you miss a big ass meal and you're bulking, you're low-key screwed. If you have any tips for yourself that has helped you with your bulking journey, definitely drop them down below. You never know who it might help. Also, if you wanna go ahead and check out some amazing protein powder, pre-workout, everything like that, you can check out my sponsor Legion. They're running a buy one get one 50% off sale until December 6th. Always use my link if you're gonna shop with Legion. I would appreciate it. And like I always say, Devin loves you, Devin's a Don, and Devin is out of here, boy.